What's going on, YouTube? Rob here, aka Trave 2323. This is a prequel to me grinding out the front of this Facebook brick tuck pointing. Okay, don't step on my wife's flowers. But I started grinding it out. Before I go any further, I must say, get the proper mask and earplugs. You need earplugs or earmuffs to stop the noise, and then you need the proper mask. I lent out my painter's mask, my car painter's mask, so I didn't wear the proper mask. It's a week later, I'm still hacking that crap up. Grinding it out, grinding it out. You try not to chip the brick. I did chip the brick once on this side. Okay, but what I wanted to show you was a couple things. My Harbor Freight angle grinder took off the cover. Should not have took off the cover. My Craftsman angle grinder. Craftsman angle grinder doesn't work anymore. Motor's dead. I did the rest of it with the $10 Harbor Freight angle grinder. The disc is already almost done. This whole side right here I did with the Harbor Freight. The Craftsman worked about 5 different times. I went through so much batteries. $10 Harbor Freight, perfect. Couple tips here before you go into the video. For one, you should always have that cover on. I threw it away for this one already. Got no choice but to stand to the side, okay? With these right here, the easiest thing for me to do was to cut out all the little sections first, because you have meat right here and you have meat in there. So when you're cutting out the little sections, you don't hit the brick. Bam, bam, bam. You don't hit the brick. You don't hit the brick, okay? So that's why I would cut out all these little sections first and then do all the lines at the time. Now I started showing you going this way, but I switched to what the guy told me, upside down with the angle grinder, and upside down with the lines. It's a lot cleaner. It really is. So hold your angle grinder upside down and go sideways and cut all the vertical ones out first, because if it jumps or if it anything, like this one jumped and I hit the brick right here. See, it jumped and hit the brick. Now that little bit over the years with dirt, whatever, sun, it'll fade out. You won't even see it. Okay, but when you jump and hit the brick, you could crack a brick, and that's what you don't want. So I did all these first. Oh, I missed one right there. And then I did the long lines. Now I got a couple more lines to go right here all the way across. I got something to stand on, because you want it about waist distance. You don't want it with your eyes. You don't want all the crap in your eyes. You want about waist distance when you're grinding it out. And in the corner, you see I just went all the way through the corner and straight around, all the way through the corner and straight around. That's how I did it. Okay, now here's the other video. What's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Trave 2323. Little video on tuck pointing. You got a brick house. Yes, you are going to need to do some tuck pointing. So little by little, I've been using my Craftsman angle grinder with a 4-inch masonry disc to grind. You can see right here, I started grinding out sections so I could start tuck pointing this part. I tuck pointed part of it last year. Some other pieces I gotta fill in. I did all that last year. So the little pieces that I see cracked, I'm gonna redo again. But I gotta grind out all this right here. Now little by little, since I am working, I use one battery and my angle grinder to grind off. And what I can really say is the most important part to doing this angle grinding right here. Go safety one. Do not take your guard off your angle grinder. Do not take your guard off the angle grinder. This thing is spinning so fast, and these discs are known to crack. And when they crack, they will come right at your face. I've seen them impaled in people's shoulders and impaled in people's faces. Do not take your safety guard off of your angle grinder. If your disc gets too small for grinding down, replace your disc. These things right here are supposed to be in a controlled environment, because they spin so fast and they crack and they will cause serious injury. Second part with being angle grinding is this also could be hazardous to your health. Do not step on your wife's tulips, because that can be hazardous to your health. So when you're angle grinding, what you want to do is you want to kind of try to stay away from the brick as best as possible, because you seem novice if you chip your brick. When you see like that, that's a chipped brick. You do not want to chip your brick when you're angle grinding, so you got to be careful, okay? And I go in pretty good. People say, well, why are you gonna grind out mortar that's already there just to put new mortar? Because if you put the top surface of mortar, it's not going to adhere as if you took a solid chunk into there. Another thing with the bricks when you're angle grinding is to make sure that, okay, this right here is on this side of it, but that right there still is not complete solid. It's not everything is not done unless you do both sides of the brick. This is the other side of the brick. This will deteriorate and that will deteriorate. So if you do both sides hand in hand, it will be a more solid bond and a waterproof bond than just doing the side that is shown and not doing the other side. So that is it right there. I'm going to go ahead and get the angle grinder on, and then we'll do from there. Okay, this isn't an Asmir video. I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting this grinded out, but then I'm gonna rinse it off, and after I rinse it off, when everything's done, then I'm gonna start the tuck pointing. Right now it's gonna be probably about a week of grinding. All right, it took me probably about an hour and a half. Total 5 batteries and 1 disc, and I got that all grinded out pretty good. Oh, I missed the spot. And this is what I found out. I could do the rest myself. Although, when I got to one point, it was no bueno. It was a no bueno. When I got to right here, that's the ledger right there. The ledger, see how thick it's supposed to be? And right there is thinner. My ledger is rusted out. So what that means is these bricks have to come out. These bricks on the top right here and these bricks over here got to come out, and then a new ledger has to be put in, and then you can put that back on. So I might actually wind up replacing the window also. But another reason why you can see the ledgers rusting out, if you look at it from the side, is bulging out right here. It's bulging out, so that means the ledger is gone. And I seen it bulging, and I was figuring maybe it might have to do with something on the other side, so I gotta grind that out also. But if you look down, see, it's bulging out already. Those 2 bottom layers on the window are bulging out. And another thing is, back here got to be tuck pointed, because if you only do one side, you're still going to have deterioration and moisture seeping in through this side. That's going to cause that side to buckle. So one thing is, a guy passing by seen me, and he seen me grinding, and I have this down facing that way. I have my grinder facing that way, and he says that you cannot really see the brick when it's down. He recommended that I do up this way, and I do a whole line at a time, and this way I can see the brick. I still can't see the other side, so I'm still gonna have to do this side. My whole thing is you do not want to chip the brick. And he showed me, like, I didn't chip this. This was already chipped, but I did hit the top of the brick right here. And he says, you know, when you tuck point it, he says you don't really want to hit the brick itself. That was chipped, that wasn't me. So, and another thing is, he says when you're tuck pointed, he says you don't want it overlapping on the brick a lot, because, like, I got some overlapping right here. He says because when it's overlapping on the brick, he says the water builds up in here. So this is stuff that you learn. This is stuff that you learn. So it was pretty cool because he stopped by and he was watching me tuck point. Then he got out to, not tuck point, he was watching me grind. Then he got out to give me tips. So that's the part that I gotta finish grinding out and tuck pointing. But here's the thing. Said he wasn't soliciting, but my honey says, why don't you just let him go ahead and do it? And he gave me a really good price, so he'll be tuck pointing the rest of this for me. God, I love my wife. Either way, this was just about grinding out then. It was going to be step by step on going all the way through tuck pointing, but this is the Craftsman angle grinder that I use, 20 volt, 5 batteries. It probably wasn't even an hour and a half. And I was able to tuck point all that not tuck point, grind out all that right there. So since I don't got to finish grinding and tuck pointing this, he said it'd only take him 2 days. Since I don't got to finish grinding and tuck pointing this, on to cleaning the basement.